Yo, what's popping? What's popping, man? We in here. Yes, indeed. We in the building. What is happening, man? Your host, Cheddar Chaz. Welcome to the No Pick Show. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you haven't already. This is a special edition. I'm gonna have my dog, Just A Davis Alvin, join the stream soon. Using a different software today, so we're doing a little bit of experimenting. I'm hoping y'all got the notification. I'm gonna check because I know how that goes sometimes when the notification doesn't get sent out. But I'm hoping you guys got the notification. Let a few of you guys join in. We're gonna drop the link. Also, pause. So some of the people who want to get up and discuss what's going on this season, some changes they would like to make, some of their ideas for transactions or what have you, you can join the conversation, discuss some of your ideas. Y'all know I normally do the live watch along. So this is a bit of an impromptu live, but I appreciate everybody tapping in and we're gonna get into it. Yes, indeed. So I see people starting to join in. So I'm hoping that this means y'all got the notification. I'm hoping that the notification was indeed sent out because I just got the notification. So I'm hoping y'all got it. Gang, what's happening with your dog? What's happening with your homie? I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. We got a guest joining in, but not really even a guest. You know, this is going to be similar to the fan line. So L gonna join in. That's the thing we pretty much do together. So I'm gonna wait for homie to join in, man. We're gonna do our thing. We're gonna do our thing. They got some interesting games tonight, of course. Very interesting games tonight. You got OKC playing Boston. I'm hoping Boston just beat the piss out of OKC. Can't stand OKC. Not a big Boston fan, but I am rooting for Jason Tatum on his comeback journey. And I think Jaylen Brown's been MVP of the season. So we're going to discuss what happened with the Hoop Collective. Whoa, what up with you, Lee? I'm chilling, big dog. Chilling. You know what I'm saying? Chilling. We got some things to discuss. You know what I'm saying? Denzel, what's happening with your homie? What's happening with you? Yeah, another 10 shot attempts for Zion. You know, let's not go crazy there. Zion better quit while he ahead shooting all them shots. What up with Louisiana Gal? What up with Louisiana Gal? Man, special shout out to Louisiana Gal because she sent me the exact timestamp for the video that we're going to discuss today. Malik, what's happening with your homie? For the video we're going to discuss today with Windhurst as he talks about the Pelicans front office decision as it pertains to James Borrego and their coaching search. Man, he's giving his perspective. Now, Paperboy, what's happening with your homie? Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that this was coming on the heels of the Pelicans having a close game versus the Cavaliers. I'm sure that may have like swayed Windhurst's perspective a bit. Also, take into account that James Borrego was in the running, quote unquote, in the running to become the Cleveland Cavaliers' next head coach at one point prior to them hiring Kenny Atkinson. So I'm not saying that Windhurst is like, you know, I'm not saying he's just pulling this out of his ass and nothing pause, but I am saying that you got to take into account some of the reasons for some of the perspectives. I'll say that. JK, what's happening, homie? What's happening with you, man? And yo, I'm gonna drop the link. Also, if y'all want to tap in and give me y'all perspective on things, I was waiting on L to roll in before we really get things started here. But what's going on with y'all, man? So, of course, last night, embarrassing loss. The Pelicans played close. Some people, you know, they want to harp on the officiating. I did not think the officiating was good in the fourth quarter. I think the officiating was pretty balanced up until the fourth quarter. Pelicans did the best they could. And look, if you watch during halftime, look, we was all saying it. I was like, yo, whoa, appreciate you, Michael Morgan. Appreciate your big dog with the two-piece, man. What's good with your homie? Look, Mike, look, we were saying this last night because all y'all was in the chat. We were saying this last night. The Pelicans are doing everything right. Like the Pelicans hitting threes, we rebounding, we playing defense, we forcing turnovers, we getting out transition. And at halftime, we only up by like 2 points. It was something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, well, damn, which one of these are more likely to fall off the map? Is it more likely that Jalen Brunson gets going, or is it more likely that the Pelicans kind of, you know, come down to earth and start making a few mistakes? And unfortunately, the Pelicans came down to earth and made a couple of mistakes. Louisiana Gal makes a good point. They also take into account that Borrego is a CAA client, which are friends to the three gentlemen discussing him on a Hoop Collective. That's a very important point. It's a very important point. Like, you know, all of this is politics. Everything is politics. Everything is optics. You know what I'm saying? Everything's about relationships. And that point right there is probably, the nail in the coffin for this particular perspective. And I'm not totally trying to discredit what Winhurst said, but I'm just saying that I don't know how balanced and nuanced that perspective is. Louisiana guest, I went digging and asking questions from my partner from Clutch after I saw that. Hey, and you just, again, like that is history. I didn't even have that information prior to you just saying that. And to me, his whole perspective just seemed a little bit misguided. Not just because I disagree, just because it's like, there's no way you're consistently watching the Pelicans making a statement like this, brother. It just ain't no way. That was my perspective. Look like we got my dog Elvin joining in. So let me see. Yo, El, everything good on your end, bro? Check. El, you good? Nah, El not good yet. El not good yet. Oh, there you go. Whoa, you good? I can't hear you. All right. Let El do his thing for a second there and see if his maybe he's, let me see, unmuted. Can't unmute the mic. So yeah, the fact that he is he works in conjunction with CAA. I'm about to play. Still can't hear you, El. Oh, I'm gonna remove you and I'm gonna add you back. All right. Well, what up, Jaden? We about to play the statement right now. I'm gonna let Al get his situation together. We're gonna play the statement and get everybody's perspective on it. Be sure to hit the like button, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification you haven't already. Consider becoming a member. We got a new episode dropping Friday. More story time.
Hashtag Cavs Corner down in New Orleans.
The
And let me know if y'all can hear this. Let me know if y'all can hear this audio from the video.
Pelicans had won 7 consecutive home games.
Hey, in all seriousness, James Borrego is doing a great job down there in New Orleans, and I don't think he's going to get legitimate consideration to be the head coach on a full-time basis moving forward. And I think that is evidence that you've got a bad front office in place there. Go on.
Well, wait a minute. And I hate to interject too early. You still muted, Al. Still, you might have to leave and just come back all together. But here's the thing that's bothering me. So the audio's good. Okay, Wiggy, you can hear it. Here's the thing. Based on what? Like, what are you saying that based upon? Because again, the Pelicans ranked, last I checked, 7th in the NBA with blown leads at 42 blown leads. 42 blown leads this season and 19 blown fourth quarter leads. If they just win half of those games in the fourth quarter where they led, if they just win half of those games, then the Pelicans are firmly in the play-in, if I'm not mistaken. I don't understand where that comment comes from. Of course, the two things aren't mutually exclusive. You can have a bad front office and Borrego can be bad as well. So I don't know where that comes from.
I don't know whether he's going to get consideration or not. We haven't.
Okay. Have you heard that he is?
I haven't heard that he isn't.
I don't think that he is either, and I would agree with McMahon.
Okay. Like Wendy, this is a case where you don't want to say what you know, but you know that I'm not pulling things out of thin air. So go on.
I agree. I'm just trying to protect you from getting aggregated.
I don't give a crap.
All right. Anyway, yes, James Borrego is doing a very good job. The mandate, because they don't have their pick, was to win. That was the mandate given when he took over, win, and he has made decisions that have been focused on winning, specifically with who he's playing.
Including not starting the guy who's the reason you don't have the pick. Go.
This is total nonsense. He started Queen for like what, 2 months? Derek Queen was starting for roughly 2 months. So what are you talking about? The fuck are you talking about? Derek Queen pretty much been out of the rotation close to a month now. But he was starting prior to that for several months. What the fuck are you talking about? What decisions were made to, push forth winning? If that was the edict, if that was the mandate, then what rotations were made? Because he was still starting 2 rookies. If the mandate was winning, then why was he starting 2 rookies? Clearly, he was doing what he wanted to do. So I don't understand. Whoa, El, you good?
I don't know. You can hear me?
Man, your audio messed up bad. I can hear you, but it's bad. Say something else.
Whoa, it's still off?
Yeah, boy, it's bad. It's real bad. Hold up. I'm gonna let you do your thing, and I'm gonna play the video.
Go on.
That's true. He put both rookies onto the bench, Fears and Queen, and also they got back DeJounte Murray in this stretch, and DeJounte's has significant impact. That has also helped.
And they're one of the few teams that's trying, and so therefore by default you're picking up wins against the teams.
That's true.
But they've also won some games against teams that are trying, like they just beat the Clippers twice in a row.
Twice.
Yes. The Clippers have hit a bit of a skid here after they were going well, although they did win in overtime on Saturday.
If they'd have lost that one, they'd be looking at a losing streak that includes losses to the Kings, twice to the Pelicans, and the Mavericks. They pulled it out in OT, but they were in serious danger zone.
It's good to see Darius Garland back.
He had 40 and Kawhi had 35 in that game.
I watched Garland's pregame warm-up. There was he took 15 deep threes in a row and didn't touch the rim. Anyways, go on.
He's a very talented guy.
He's a live body when he's healthy. The guy he was traded for, though, James Harden.
Yeah, okay. So I think that pretty much sums up their comments on Borrego, if I'm not mistaken. So, again, this seems like a group of guys that don't watch the Pelicans. They don't watch the New Orleans Pelicans. And that's really the bottom line. Because there's no way you can say you can give that type of endorsement. It had you been watching this team since Borrego took over. Again, the Pelicans had played 12 games during Willie Green's tenure before he was fired. They were 2-10. So you inherited 2 wins, right? Let's say you inherited 2 wins. The Pelicans, as it currently stands, are what? Can someone tell me the New Orleans Pelicans record right now? Can someone tell me the New Orleans Pelicans record right now in the chat, being that they inherited 2 wins? I know some people were saying that, 30 wins was the goal. 30 wins was the target. To me, that's an incredibly low bar, but it is what it is. And the reason it's a low bar is because you had 70 games left to play. Yeah, it ain't like you inherited this team in the middle of the season. You inherited them in November before Thanksgiving. You had roughly 70 games left to play. The Pelicans record currently stands at 25-48. They're 25-48, and the Memphis Grizzlies are 24-47. Mind you, the Pelicans are ranked maybe 13th or 14th as far as teams with lost games to injuries. So the Pelicans have been relatively healthy most of the year, especially compared to, past years. A big injury, and, the guy who missed the most games, and a very big injury would be DeJounte Murray. But aside from that, the Pelicans haven't really been injury-ridden this season. Zion's probably going to play 65 games. Herb is at, I think, 50 games right now, if I'm not mistaken. They've been relatively healthy. So the fact that you've had all those guys, and the Grizzlies have had, I can't even name all of the injuries they've had. Prior to Ja Morant being out this last stretch of games, you had Ja Morant out for a period of time. Zach Edey's been out for a period of time. Brandon Clark, Scottie Pippen Jr. Who else? I don't think Brandon Clark even played this year, man. Who else? Vince Williams, Gigi Jackson has missed time. Ty Jerome. You know what I'm saying? Well, what's happening with your most hated? What's happening with your lean? Shout out to everybody. Build X. What's going on with your homie? We see, but $50 million in dead bench money. Now, with the $50 million in dead bench money, I'm presuming you mean, let's say, guys, I don't think you're talking about DeJounte. So let's say that's Jordan Poole potentially, who's not playing because, coach's decision. Kevon Looney, coach's decision. Jordan Hawkins, coach's decision. Now, that's about $50 million right there. Yeah. Now, what up with your trade? And if I wanted to add in DeAndre Jordan as well, that's about another $2 million. So that is a lot of money, and guys who aren't actively contributing. Well, what up with you, dog?
I think I'm Gucci now, dog.
Yeah, you're good. Now you're good.
Bro,
now you're good. Devin, what up, homie? What up, Jaden? Now, Liam say the only bail I'm willing to give JB is reportedly they didn't have their first practice until around Mardi Gras. Liam, I'm gonna tell you that's a lie.
Don't give him no bail. No bail.
But Liam, I'm gonna tell you that's a lie. And you know what? It's not a lie from the standpoint of somebody just being dishonest. It's a lie by omission. And I'll tell you why it's a lie by omission. Shout out to Looney in the building. It's a lie by omission because people act like Borrego just came off the street. Mind you, he was here doing training camp. He was here. Like he worked with the team. He was working post-practice with some of these guys. He was here. You know what I'm saying? Like the only person you ever really seen Willie Green work with post practice was Herb Jones. What you've seen Borrego for multiple years now work post practice with Zion. Had a little bit of post practice time working with Jordan Poole. Had a little bit of practice time working with Trey, working with all three of those guys. So he has time on task. It ain't like, you know, again, to me, it would be, it's not like you fired Willie Green and then you went hired Snyder toward the middle or end of the season like the Hawks did some years ago when they fired Nate McMillan. This is a guy who's been in the organization. Some of his philosophies had been implemented in the organization. That's why I think you see certain things look pretty similar as they did under Willie Green. You still got the same issues with game management, timeout management. Prime example, and I'm going to pass you the ball right here, Al. Prime example. Last night, and this drove me crazy during the stream. Like, if you watched the stream last night, dog, this shit was driving me crazy. We need to get Zion in the game. Right? It's like a 2-point game. It's like a 1 or 2 point game, right? We need to get Zion in the game. Gotta get him in the game. I think Jeremiah Fears had just had a steal. Jeremiah Fears was on fire in the fourth quarter. I believe he went 5 for 5 in that fourth quarter. He was getting steals. He was defending, hitting big shots. Jeremiah Fears was balling, right? He gets a steal, steps out of bounds. So, of course, the ball goes back to the Knicks. The Knicks called timeout. I believe it was like 4 minutes and 8 seconds left, if I'm not mistaken, right? They come back. Zion still not checked into the game, right? And what does Borrego do, right? He waits till the Knicks go on a small run, extends the lead. He was 6 for 6 in the fourth quarter. Thank you, Jaden. So he was 6 for 6 in the fourth quarter, right? So they wait till the Knicks, you know, go on a bit of a run, call timeout again. In comes DeJounte Murray. In comes Zion, right? Now, at this point with Borrego, you only got 2 timeouts. When you call the timeout, now you have 1 timeout left. Why didn't you just make the substitution? If you were going to do that, why didn't you just make the substitution when the Knicks called timeout at 4-8? That way you would have kept your 2 timeouts going into the clutch. Small shit that just bothers me. But what was your observation from last night's game,
Al? As you remember, I was kind of in the comments of the stream. So and said, brothers, and I know sometimes the best shows make for like people that are like on opposing sides of like opposing views, but like sometimes you just can't explain. Like sometimes you can't explain the same shit that's been happening over and over and over, especially when you've been seeing it over and over and over for a multitude of years. So like there are some simple things that James Borrego does better than Willie Green, right? But at the same time, he's making the same mistakes that were costing you games, or at least costing you opportunities to have better opportunities in games, right? So like, just even if he does put Zion in at the 4, like takes advantage of the Knicks sub and put Zion in, that don't mean you win the game, but that lack of attention to detail are the kind of things that cost you games, right? You said throughout most of the season, and like, right, people been standing on if you got the hot hand or if you playing well, you gonna close games. You saw him with the Houston game. He closed the game with Zion early in the season. I mean, when Herb went.
Oh yeah, when he benched Zion, yeah.
Right, Zion rolled the bench the whole fourth quarter, the whole final minutes or whatever.
Jordan Poole came in, hit some clutch free throws, but he was on the bench as well,
to hit the free throws, right? But like, rolled the bench the whole fourth quarter. But you telling me, DeJounte Murray, while your rookie, who again, this the same rookie that you were starting and closing games with majority of the season, right? Like, think about it. Like, this the same dude majority of the season. You was like, I believe in him. He's starting closing games, having one of his best games of the season, especially one of his best games looking at like the level of competition, the stage, and all, you know what I mean? And all of that. Had it going in the fourth. If it was not for Jeremiah Fears at the time, like, you really didn't have no offense. Like the line, then we talk about the lineup. I get to that in a second. The lineup you had in at the time had zero like potential offense. It was Zion.
Can I add to this? Can I add to this point? Because that I was going to say this as well. To me, that was the most, aside from benching Jeremiah Fears, because DeJounte was awful and he was awful all night, but especially in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Besides benching Jeremiah Fears, the most egregious shit I saw was Zion, I think Jeremiah Fierce, Derek Queen, Eve Messi, and Herb Jones. I think that was the 5. That was one of the worst possible lineups.
And
just period.
Even when Eves came in, it was like, why the fuck you took Carlo out?
Yeah,
Carlo at the time was like 5 for 5, 2 for 2, or something like that. Now the
odd man out in that lineup really was Derek. I didn't think Eve played well at all, but the odd man out was Derek. Like, it was bad.
Carlo had played like
Carlo played all excellent.
Carlo had been playing well. You took Carlo out. You took Carlo out the game. It's like, wait a minute, what? Jeremiah Fierce is literally in the process of turning the game, right? Like, in the process of turning the game. And you don't know what happens in that game if you leave him in. Sometimes you got to let, like, the story continue to write itself, right? Facts, Zion, like, I think he started the 4th. I think he might have started the 4th, played a couple minutes. You know how they do. And then they bench him.
Also,
and then,
I'm sorry to cut you off. Also, Jeremiah Fierce didn't play the entire 3rd quarter.
Didn't play the whole 3rd, bro.
No, wait. Now I'm remembering shit. Oh my God, now I'm remembering shit, bro. At the end of the 2nd quarter, he couldn't get Zion back subbed into the game. Zion was at the scores table at the end of the 2nd quarter, right? It was like a minute left, like a minute 30 left. I don't know why you subbing him in with a minute 30 left, but it was like a minute 30 left. And Zion like, yo, what we doing? And James Borrego just pats him on the back like, all right, don't worry about it.
Go sit down. Don't worry about it.
Jeremiah Fierce, end of the 3rd quarter. He couldn't get Jeremiah Fierce subbed in at the end of the 3rd. Same thing happened when he was like, don't worry about it, go sit down. What the fuck are you doing, cuz?
Bro, this is and again, this is small details. People want to talk about like the Zion need to shoot more. I understand. Trey might need to do more or be better defensively. I understand all of that. Again, when we talking about the coaching aspect of the game, like, not saying that you can't make mistakes, right? Like challenging some shit that probably shouldn't be challenged, but you challenge it because I'm right. My dog say challenge it, I'm challenging it, right? Like, okay, we can live with that type of stuff. But strategic mistakes like that, you can't blow. Like, they just called the timeout, bro. You can't afford to blow the timeout. Like, you can't afford to blow the timeout to get your best player in the game. First off, if you treating him like he your best player, like y'all say everything move and goes, how Z move and go, then like you need to have that motherfucker at the top of your mind anyway. Like, bro, we need to get Z in the game. Like, why is Z not in the game? Y'all said he good to go, right? He been playing more than 30-something minutes a game anyway. Like, why isn't it, why are we waiting to get the best player in the game? That's first. So then that, and again, the subbing out of Jeremiah Fierce, bro, when like there was no rhyme or reason to like take him out of the game at that moment. Even if you're gonna bring DeJounte back because you want to, right? Because the way DeJounte was playing, there was no real strategic reason to put DeJounte back on the floor at that point in the game, in my opinion. So like, if that's the case, and you had been willing to bench Poole, you was willing to bench Zion, why wouldn't you tell DeJounte, hey, bro, tonight not your night tonight? Tonight not your night.
Because you're making a great point. And I feel like, there's been 2 guys who haven't gone to the bench yet this season, one being Herb and the other being DeJounte. Do you feel like DeJounte is calling his own shots in those situations?
Yes,
bro. It was a couple nights ago where I believe that they beat someone in DeJounte toward the end of the game, asked to be subbed back in for Fierce, if I'm not mistaken. And Fierce appeared to have some frustration. Do you think DeJounte is calling his own shot in that situation?
I think DeJounte, I think they talk about JB being like like in practice, he's hard on these guys and stuff like that. I can't tell. I personally can't tell, because even if you hard on them in practice, like, bro, you kind of like a player's coach, because if you as hard on them as you say you are, right, then there's no excuse for not only you putting DeJounte in the game and he not understanding, right? Mm-hmm. But as soon as he get in the game, this motherfucker don't pass. Like, he ain't run no set. He ain't passed the ball to nobody. Went down and took, like, you struggling, bro. You struggling. Come in.
Yeah.
Don't pass nobody. Take a shot. And was like,
he had a couple situations the way it was like, yo, cuz, like, why you did that? Like, you know what I'm saying? This is not the night for that. Also, man, I dropped the link in the chat. If y'all want to join the conversation, hit the link, man, and join in, man. We'd love to hear y'all thoughts as well. But, you know, I think, you know, just to add a bit of optimism, because, of course, the title of the show is that, you know, this team is closer than they appear. I think with the number of blown leads that they've had, that kind of shows you that talent-wise, this team can compete most nights. Like, they can compete most nights. They're not getting blown out of the water necessarily. Now that they're fully healthy, I think they have a puncher's chance going into every game.
Let me interject right there, if you don't mind. Like, before the season, I picked them to win 50 games. Mm-hmm. This was under the assumption that you got anything from Poole, right? Mm. Okay. Now just off the Poole point alone, real quickly. Like, I'm not saying that Poole was playing great, mm-hmm. right? But he had moments where he was not god awful, right? Mm-hmm. By you completely taking him out the rotation, you can't get nothing from him.
Yeah.
Like you don't even have the opportunity for him to get hot, which he's shown you he could do in stretches, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe give you some of that offensive cushion that you need to help win some of these games. So it's kind of like, if you had good coaching, right? Because I'm gonna consider this like bad coaching.
Okay.
Like I would look at Willie Green as like, you know, bro, my line to compare this to is the Major Payne when he was like, "You're still a shit sandwich, you're just not a soggy one."
Right.
That's kind of how I see it. It's like we were bottom of the barrel with Willie Green, and Willie Green even had his moments, right?
Yeah.
Like, Willie Green still won 49 games. Willie Green mm-hmm. did start off 2-12 and made the play-in. Mm. Like, say what you want, like, but he did that and made the play-in. That second year, they made the play-in. Like, whatever you say, he actually was able to get it done. Honestly, with less health than this team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I can't give Borrego no bell for them being like, I can't give them, like, yes, they're competitive, but I can't give them no like real slack or say, like, you know what I mean? Like if they had, because you were talking about them not being that far away, mm-hmm. if they had a good coach, not even a great coach, like a good coach, mm-hmm. then I could, you know what I mean? I could see some of the little things that like would have you more competitive. Like, maybe not 50 wins where I was at, but mm-hmm. like, you know,
I think they'd be firmly in the play-in, and
like 7-8 seed.
Because, you know, and shout out to DeJounte, and I don't want to diminish anything that he's done since he's been back. And I think, you know, aside from a couple of games, he's played well. But the schedule was always the schedule. Like, we did a breakdown of this. Like, you knew the teams that you would be playing going toward the end of the season. You're going to be playing some teams that's going to be firmly in the playoffs, and you're going to be playing some teams that are firmly tanking. So those teams have no incentive to win, really. And they're going to be resting guys most likely going into the playoffs. So those are games, those are victories that you probably should be stacking going into like the final week, final stretch of the season. So DeJounte's return pretty much coincided with that. I think if you had the coaching advantage, at least, again, they blew 19 four-quarter leads. Let's say you win half of those games. If you win half of those games, right, let's just say you win 8, right? You win 8 of those motherfuckers. If you win 8 of those games, you have 33 wins. Right, you have 33 wins. The Golden State Warriors right now are the 10th seed with 34. Golden State Warriors are free fall. The season's damn near over, right? And look, if you win 9 of those games,
bro, Golden State want to give it away.
Yeah, Golden State, they're not worried about, you know, this season necessarily, because they know they have no hope in the postseason. So they're not really tripping. They like, shit, we might as well, you know, see what we could do, you know, and not risk Steph. We don't want to risk Steph potentially picking up a longer term injury. So again, if you were just somewhat competent in the fourth quarter, you're firmly in the play-in. even though it's the plan, but you're in there based on everything that is going on this season. That's awesome for you.
Let me ask you a question.
Of course.
So, to your point, Zion's on pace to play what, 60 games, 61 games, something like that.
Nah, I think more than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 60 plus, right? Something like that. Like if nothing got, knock on wood, nothing happens.
Knock on wood, yeah.
Trey on pace to play how many games?
I'm not sure. Less than Zion.
Let's say like 60. Like they've both played majority of the season.
Zion has played 56 games, so he's on pace to play about 66.
And Trey must be he got to be somewhere close to that.
Yeah, Trey's probably maybe a little less. Let's see how many Trey's played 64, so he's on pace to play roughly 74 games.
Right. I would say coming into the season, that's your two best players.
Right.
Right. If you take the Willie Green stand out, because Zion missed a good bit of like the 2 and 10 that Willie Green had. Zion
he missed a good bit of that. Yeah.
Right. So most of that is Borrego.
Right.
If you had Zion and Trey, right, for on pace to be 66 and 70 something games, you had your two best players. Now I'm not saying that you don't have other things around that need to be there for you to win.
Of course.
But I think majority of the roster had been there for the most of the season. Y'all made it a choice to bench Poole and play the rookies as much as y'all played them and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna give you no slack for the decision you made. You made the decision to not play the double bigs throughout majority of the season. So them losses you had to Memphis early in the season, Dallas early in the season, you know what I mean? I can't cut you no bell on those.
Yeah.
Like no, bro, you've had your best players, and unfortunately, another reason I'm not giving him no slack is other than Sadiq Bey and maybe Jeremiah Fizz, right? Who throughout the season has like looked better?
You mean for us on the upward trajectory?
Like take Trey, right? Trey. Has Trey's game since Borrego, the offensive coach, come in, looked any different or better other than like the Derek Queen back cuts, which if Derek don't find him, you know what I mean? It's not like the useless offense, just thing. A bunch of movement, but like what player has he significantly elevated as well? So honestly, even if you don't get the wins, you can be like, well, fuck, this dude looking better.
Honestly, I kind of feel like Jeremiah Fizz looked this way in summer league. To me, like he looked. He just needed to come off the bench to like. Yeah, like I thought he started the season strong with that second unit, Jeremiah Fizz. Personally, I think Derek Queen had a stretch where he looked, solid for a nice stretch of games. I would say I think Trey looked better last year. Personally, I think some of that had to do with going into the summer not being able to lift, so he looks skinnier. Like he looks rookie season skinny right now. Got to put on some weight. This is Herb's worst year ever. Like literally, this is his worst year ever. Literally. Zion, that's probably his worst year ever.
What are we talking about, bro?
Yeah, it's to me, because to me the biggest indictment on Borrego is just his inability to maximize guys' talent. I think again, shout out to my dog Sam. I think Zion is posting. He's like number one this month for efficiency. I think he's like the man just shot like 80% last night. It was 8 for 10. So it's like we couldn't find like 4-6 more attempts here and there, coach.
Bro, they talk about Zion not being aggressive enough to just be like, fuck it, let me get it and just go with let me just take over and do it. And then it's kind of like, dog, if you at this point know that that's not his makeup, then you know what your coach got to do? You know what your coach got to do? I got to force you into those positions, bro. That's what I'm doing with the best player.
Bro, I'm sorry.
Every action got to go through you. Go ahead,
I'm sorry to cut you off. I 1000% agree with you, because when I hear that argument brought up, my question is, so what is the coach's job like to you? Like, what do you think the coach does? Like, does the coach just like, he just there to hand motherfuckers Gatorade? Like, what do you think he does? His job is to structure the team and put the team in the best position to be successful. That's not necessarily the player's job. The player's job is to go out there and execute with the directives. But if the directives aren't coming down, what do you want? Like, what is anyone's really supposed to do? You know, to me, it's just a bizarre argument. Yo, what up, Savage?
There is no schematic advantage, bro. There is no schematic advantage. Like, I remember coming into the games, like we knew coming in the games with Willie, sometimes you was like, all right, you done already lost the coaching battle. Like, you're going to get out schemed. You're going to get like certain things you just knew, like, right? And with Borrego, it may not be to a degree as bad, because I personally, what I think it is I think the team had just got tired of the Willie Green voice, right? Got tired of the Willie Green voice. Just, you know, it's like the substitute teacher come in, you just ready to like get this dude out of here and we'll listen, right? But he's not running no fucking amazing plays. Well, like, he ain't running the Coach Carter. I tied that shoe. You see who tied that shoe? Run it again. You see that back cut? Like, it ain't none of that. It ain't one of those situations where Borrego called a play and you just like I'm not saying that he don't call good plays sometimes, but throughout the flow of the game, bro, throughout the flow of the game, schematically, it's not like for example, at the end of the game, they was running the Z and DeJounte pick and roll and got like some quick, easy layups, though. Right. Like, we can't just run that throughout the game. No. Okay. So when Trey subbed in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken, Trey's supposed to be the best shooter on the team.
Hands down.
Like, yeah. Trey hit a couple from like
he hit 30 feet. He hit 3 threes in a row.
30 feet. If you're a good defensive team, you're gonna be like, hey, we gotta deny him. We ain't setting them off.
Shout out to my dog Chris in the building.
Bro, shout out to y'all, though.
Y'all follow Chris on Twitter, Impatient Bull, man. Shout out to the homie Chris in the building. What's happening with your big dog? Say, hit that like button and run the hype chat up for sure.
Y'all not gonna set Trey no off-ball screen. You know what you do sometimes? You can set the off-ball screen. If they fight through that one, just double back and set the screen again. Like, hey, nobody shoot this bitch until Trey Murphy touch it. Like,
you know, one thing I saw last night that really frustrated me, it was a lot of over dribbling. It's a lot of over dribbling. There was one point where DeJounte, if I'm not mistaken, DeJounte I think he took a bad shot. Sadiq Bey got the rebound.
Over dribbling, and then you immediately say DeJounte.
DeJounte can over dribble. I ain't gonna lie, boy. DeJounte and Sadiq Bey, they some over dribbling brothers. I ain't gonna lie. So DeJounte, he takes a bat. And this is after Trey hits like 2 or 3 threes in a row. DeJounte he over dribbles a bit, attacks, misses. Sadiq Bey gets the rebound, misses, kicks it out to Trey in the right corner. Trey airballs, right? And Sadiq might have got the rebound, the airball, but I think he got blocked on the putback, and it was a transition opportunity. Fourth quarter, again, Trey comes in. It's like a hand grenade situation, shoots another airball. So it's like
another shot again. Think about this. That was like 4 minutes left in the fourth, something like that. Didn't get another shot again until I think that layup at with seconds left in the game.
Yeah, it was. To me, and look, if you look at the game last night's game was an incredibly clean game. Like, the turnovers wasn't crazy. I thought the Pelicans defended well for the most part. I thought Zion might have been your best on-ball defender last night. I thought Zion defended well. I thought Herb defended well. I thought Herb had a great. I don't say great. I thought he had a very good game. I thought Herb had a very good game, in my opinion.
Herb was solid.
Herb was solid. I think Herb had 2 very good games back to back. But it's like when you seeing some players that are excelling, like we mentioned Carlo earlier, and you see some guys that just don't got it tonight, you have to have the courage to say, bro, tonight you just don't got it. And it can't be your friends get several opportunities. Even if your friends don't have it, you have to have the courage to pull them to the side and say, look, tonight's not going to be your night, bro. I'm sorry. Like, shout out to Derek. I thought Derek defended Cat well in the post early in the game.
Derek had some good moments.
Early. The fourth quarter, none of those moments were there. And to me, once you saw how Carlo was playing, once you kind of just had
was Carlo 5 for 5 at one point or something like that.
Yes. Once you saw a small glimpse of how DQ was playing in the fourth, it's like, man, no. All right, let's do this, or just don't play Derek and Eve together.
This is what's crazy to me, and
I see you, Jaden.
Maybe like watching the game. Obviously, coaching. I'm gonna say coaching is hard, right? Like obviously, coaching is hard, but was it DQ early in the season? I think played the whole fourth quarter one game because he had it going. Was it DQ? Was it Carlo? Yes, I think it was versus Dallas, right? Got subbed in, had it going, ran him the whole fourth quarter. Hey, man, he had it going. We're not taking him out. Am I not mistaken? That was DQ, right?
If I'm not mistaken, yes.
So what that lets me know is, again, you had the capacity to say, again, Zion got sacked damn near entire fourth quarter. You telling me at this point in the season, because you got to remember, bro, your season is on the line in this game. Like, say what you want, but
you were officially eliminated last night.
You officially eliminated now. I did not feel like you played that game. Like, it did not feel like that game felt like we don't want to, like, get eliminated from the play in this particular game. He didn't coach like it, because if that's the case, you, like, Zion damn near play 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's your best player. You leave him on a court.
You in Madison Square Garden, bro.
Yeah, man, what are we doing, dog? Zion not missing. He's not missing, bro. You damn near don't take him off the floor. You don't coach. And that's another part about the coaching thing to me that's frustrating also, is because I do not feel like the intensity from the, like, I don't know if the intensity is the right word. Like the urgency.
Yes,
like the urgency from the coaching staff necessarily has been there. And like, because normally if the urgency of the coaching staff is there, that shit translate to your players, right? Like when you see some of these players having turnovers, bro, if your season on the line and you coaching like it, come sit down, bro. I ain't got time for you to constantly having this many turnovers. We can't afford to lose these kinds of games. If you see Jeremiah Fizz got it rolling, and he was balling, he taking it to Brunson.
He was balling, son.
He was
Jeremiah Fizz was balling, though.
Like, bro, when he came out, what day? How much time they have left? Like 4 minutes left.
A little under 4 minutes. You know the thing that really bothered me too, bro. Like, and I was saying this like maybe in December. It's just like y'all just not desperate enough. The sense of desperation wasn't there. Because I was like, y'all, I'm throwing everything at the wall at a certain point, and it just never happened. Like, I thought it was so really
listen, you was bizarre. Desperate enough. Think about this. You was desperate enough to play DeAndre Jordan, and it worked.
Right.
It worked. Say what you want. You played. You was like, fuck it. Y'all so bad. We gonna play DeAndre. And then you play DeAndre and it worked out for you. And then guess what? You decide after, I don't know, like DeAndre didn't really, he wasn't the reason that you lost none of the games that you started losing, but you knew his presence made a difference for how your team needed to play. And now you go back to just deciding that presence isn't needed anymore.
And that's a good point, because I kind of want to transition to that and some of the positives moving forward, because I do think there are several positives, like oddly enough. But yo, Jaden, what's going on with your brother? Jaden, what's your thoughts on last night's game and some of the changes the Pelicans can make moving forward? Jaden, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear both of y'all.
What's good, Jaden, bro?
How y'all fellas doing?
Doing well, fam. How are you?
Thanks.
Doing great. All right. Thoughts on last night's game. Like I said, Jeremiah Fizz should have finished the fourth quarter, but there's one thing I had picked up after he came out. I agree with you, Chad. He should have finished, but I had watched whatchamacallit after the Pelicans game. Buku. I heard what Firefest said about Jeremiah, saying that he actually wasn't mad at Jeremiah not finishing the game, because he's saying Jeremiah Fears obviously is pissed off that he feel like he earned his opportunity to finish the game, but he got sub out for a man in DeJounte Murray who was having an awful freaking night. Couldn't buy a bucket to go down the rim. But I think that would happen. I think that's gonna help Jeremiah Fears learn even more, knowing that hey, the next time when I'm eventually am back in the starting lineup, I'm gonna make sure I don't lose my job again.
Okay. Shout out to Jaden in the building, man. Appreciate you, Jaden, homie. What do you think about that? You think because I tend to think, in certain situations, those things can be transferable, and in some situations, it could turn into a negative. It can have a negative impact. Kind of like, Jeremiah Fears is 19 years old, really young, really passionate, fiery guy. And at one point, Jeremiah Fears was liking posts on TikTok saying, "Man, me and Queen the one carrying this fucking team." So you don't know how that's gonna really play with a person, like mentally, how that'll transfer. But what are your thoughts on again? You saw one situation earlier. There was some miscommunication between DeJounte and Zion, where Zion kind of like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And DeJounte like, "Nah, I got it." Now DeJounte ultimately makes a good play, kicks it to Sadiq Bey for a three. I believe that was in the first quarter. Then at the end of the game, you see what happened a bit with her picking up the technical foul and DeAndre Jordan. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what's happening here? So what are your thoughts on just some of the guys and the communication on the team between the coaching staff and the players themselves? Do they seem like they're, this is a good group to build on for its continuity?
Possibly. I think part of it is so I think it's two separate things happening. First, Jeremiah Fears views himself as a starter. He said, bro, one of my goals this year, like if you watch the podcast he did with AD and your boy the Pelicans pod, he said one of my goals was to start every game this year. Like when I got the starter, I ain't want to get a spot up. And I like him having that mindset. Like, bro, you got drafted 7. Like that's exactly the mindset you supposed to have. If I'm cooking, I ain't trying to come out the games. Like, so I know Jeremiah has the thought process, like, I'm better than DeJounte, motherfucker off the Achilles. Like, you know what I mean? But again, he's supposed to have that. So last night game specifically, I don't know if it's like indicative of, too much as far as like the communication and stuff like that. I think last night regarding Jeremiah is like, bro, Borrego just didn't do a good job of like managing that team. As far as like the communication stuff, and is it a good group to move forward with? I think it can be, but they haven't had a lot of time on task with DeJounte. Yeah. Like DeJounte spent a lot of last season hurt and then away from the team. This season, he was away for a lot of the team. And then when they do come back, you got a new coach that's here. Like, regardless of like Willie was here when he got back, Borrego's the guy. We trying to run new concepts and shit like that. Like, it's just so I think a lot of it is, and then DeJounte at the end of the day, while trying to play for the team, he's still trying to get his confidence in himself. Like, can I still be what I think I am? Right. So I think part of that is like conflicting with what's going on. So do they have potential to be a good group? Possibly. I really don't believe that. Like, honestly, I don't believe Borrego is the kind of coach that they need to like force them to do it, if that makes sense. Like, it's still too free to me.
I think I see you, Jaden. I got you. I think also based on what I've seen last year and what I've seen this year, I just think there's always going to be too many things surrounding DeJounte. It's too many, rumors of him not necessarily being happy. He had the stealth trade request last season. Now this season there was another supposed trade request regardless of what anyone says. They were trying to get him up out of here. He was trying to go, himself.
Jeremiah trying to get him up out of here too.
Yeah, Jeremiah be like, I'll be thrilled if you up out here. Actually,
yeah,
probably, especially because he felt he's been a starter, and look, it's a lot harder to take a position away from a person or a job away from a person than it is to give them one. But I also think, just looking at everything, I feel like DeJounte. Let me ask you this. What do you think, which position on this roster you think is easier to upgrade? Would you say point guard or would you say the center position?
Easier to upgrade?
This offseason. Because now we shift to the optimism. We shift to correct and separate pieces.
Listen, I got the whole show planned about the offseason, but I'm willing to do it with you right now if you got time.
Let's talk about it.
But as far as the position, so the position of need is the center position. Right. But realistically, I don't think it's that easy to go get the quality of center that we need.
What center is that? Do you think you need a full-time starting center, or you think you need a big body rotational center?
So I thought about it this way. Think about this. If what was good, people.
Well, yeah.
So say they go get a Mitchell Robinson, right? Let's say they bring most of this roster back and they go get a Mitch Robinson level center. Right. Is Mitch Robinson better than Carlo and Eves? Yes. Right. I don't know who your coach is because we don't know who the coach is yet, but let's assume for just because of this exercise and he's here right now, let's say it's Borrego, right? Is Mitchell Robinson good enough to them bench Herb or Sadiq Bey?
Now here's the thing. Here's where the money becomes a factor too, right? Because with the salary cap projected to be $1 million less than it was initially, I think the Pelicans might be maybe looking at the non-taxpayer mid-level exception next year, maybe 14, close, maybe 12, 13 million, right? Mitchell Robinson probably getting about 16, 18, or maybe, right? And he's also a guy that's had a history. I say that to say this, right?
Got the injury history.
Yeah, he got a guy with vast injury history, but also you're gonna have to move somebody. Somebody got to go. You got to shed some salary to be able to really upgrade this roster, especially if you bring in a guy like Mitchell Robinson.
Well, you got to think. Just assume it this way. Let's say for Mitch Rob, Looney gone and Hawk gone. Hawk 7. That's what. That's 15 mil, something like that. So hypothetically, you could do it, but let's take the money aspect out of it.
Okay.
Just from a
name standpoint.
From what you know of this coach and the level of player it is, right? Like a Mitch Rob level player, right? Take the injury out, all of that. If Borrego is your coach, is Mitchell Robinson good enough for Borrego to say, I'm gonna bring Herb Jones as a Sadiq Bey off the bench?
I'm gonna say no.
If the answer is no, then a Mitchell Robinson level player don't really do much for you.
Yeah.
Because now you're starting 5 still small, right?
Yeah. Can't shoot.
And you still stuck. Now the issue is why I say the center is the position of need is because you saw when DeAndre Jordan played how different they looked.
Just
when
his presence alone.
Right. When Messi has good games, how good they can look. When Carlo's playing well, how good they could look. And regardless of whatever you say about DeJounte, and if DeJounte and Fears is your backcourt, let's say for a season, that's sustained. It ain't great point guard play, but that's sustainable enough based off all of the stuff that you could potentially have around it. Not having a center throughout the season when the team don't rebound well, they don't defend the rim well. You want to play wings, they're not the most athletic. You got to have somebody to protect these guys. The center is the more valuable position. The only issue is you, even if you sign, let's say you sign Kessler, right? What level do you think Kessler is as a player?
I think Kessler would help you a lot, though. I ain't gonna lie. I think
I agree.
Yeah. I think. Go ahead.
You think no. So would you say Kessler is like starting like Kessler or Jared Allen? Or is he on the Jared Allen level?
Everybody healthy? I think he's on Jared. I think he's on the Jared.
You think
Allen.
he on that level?
Talent wise, I think he's on the Jared. Talent for talent. Everybody healthy. I think you would need Kessler more than you would need Jared Allen. Because I think Kessler is a lot bigger than Jared Allen, in my opinion.
If you're saying Kessler is on Jared Allen's level, then Kessler can be your center moving forward. Because I think you have to have somebody that's like definitive, can play 25 to 28 minutes in like. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, because I think this is what you're saying, because this is kind of what I'm thinking too. I think with a person like Borrego, where you won't necessarily have a coaching advantage, he needs a more perfect situation to be successful. Like he needs all the T's crossed and I's dotted to be successful. Like shout out to Bree. Bree was like, she said, I was thinking about this earlier. I wonder why point guards look so bad in the system. And I think it's because the point guards are usually an extension of the head coach. And well, it's the Pelican staff, right? Absolutely. Personally, I think Borrego is a guy who would need a more perfect situation. I think he would need, the Pelicans or BYOB, bring your own bag. So you need a center that's going to join the organization that's already doing all these things at a high level. The development and all that shit that goes out of the window. Let's presume that Windhurst is right and McMahon is right and Borrego out of here. Let's just say coach. Let's just presume it's Jamal Mosley, just for shits and giggles. Let's just say it's Jamal Mosley, right? When you talk about this player archetype, like shout out to Paperboy, he mentioned Klingon. You got Klingon in the West, who's a monster of a fucking human being.
Ivory asked the other day, should we trade Z for Klingon? Because he was like, Klingon could be a championship level center.
I talked to Ivy about that. I like Klingon a lot, but I think champion level centers are a lot more low usage these days than in years past. But the last couple guys that won the championship, it was a mixture. It was I guess Chet and was Hardenstein on that team.
Yeah, other than Joker, like there's no real Joker centers. Like nobody play inside like that. There's more like the tall stretch.
I guess Al Horford was a bit more low usage at that time, and Porzingis
he still shot threes when they went to the championship.
Yeah, he still shot some threes. I think Klingon fits the mold of where the West is going. As far as again, you got a guy like Walker Kessler, you got Edie, you got Klingon. They still got fucking Yang. You got a lot of large body, strong centers in the West. Well, what up with you, Jess? You got a lot of large body, like strong physical centers in the West. So I like this is the reason why you bring in a guy like Hunter Dickinson. Not that Hunter Dickinson is ever gonna play, but I'm saying a big 7'2",
dominating the G League.
Yeah, this motherfucker's dominating. Big 7'2", 300-pound motherfucker, right? Just a monster of a man out there, right? I think that's something that the Pelicans, personally, I think that's something that the Pelicans can identify in the second round and bring in and nurture. Now, that's why I asked you, what do you think is the most important thing to get? Because I like the idea of a guy like Goga Bitadze as a transitional starting big for you, and you just do center by rotation. I think you can get away with center by rotation. Like, let's just say Eve. Hold on, 1 second. Let me say this. Let's just say Eve takes one more small step toward, his destiny. Right? Let's say you go get Goga Bitadze, right? And let's say Carlo is your third center's second power forward. Now, are you comfortable enough with that center rotation to put your resources in to go and find shooting and point guard play?
No. No.
Even with a new coach?
No.
Okay.
No.
What you got?
I don't listen, I like Goga Bitadze. I don't believe Goga is. I don't think he's a starting center.
Yeah, I think he's more of a rotational big, like matchup dependent.
So that means, like, unless did you say Klingon or you said Goga, Misi, and Carlo?
Clingan. Look,
I'm saying you didn't add Clingan to that, right? You said Goga.
No, I said Goga and Misi would be your second big. I said Misi taking.
No.
Let's say Misi became. Let's say he was Precious Achua. Right?
He not.
Okay. So you want a bona fide starting center.
What they need, bro. They need a starting level center. The reason they need the starting level center is because what I noticed about this team is they play us like the style that the players you have play demand a big, right? That's why they rebounds. That's why they look so competent with JV. Like you say whatever you want about JV, but when they had a big body that could like control the paint and get the rebounds, regardless of whatever you said, even offensively, just to have somebody to throw the ball to, like it just made a difference. Like it gave Zion, like, not that like you would love to see him with a spacer, but a big body that somebody that another person has to occupy still creates space to a degree for Z. They don't respect Misi offensively.
Right.
Like even when he's cutting to the goal and shit like that, like he's not like physically imposing enough to like really feel like a threat. You ain't shooting no threes. So unless you catching a lob or like a putback, you really, you know what I mean?
Right.
No, you're really not doing nothing.
What names would you associate with the player archetype you're looking for? Because I can think of a couple, but what names are you thinking about?
So like realistic names, I think you'd have to, one, I think you got to reach. I think you try to get Kessler. I don't think you will because I think they bring him back, but I think you have to try to get a Kessler. I don't think you'll be able to get Clingan. Honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to get the center this year.
What does a deal for Kessler look like to you? Because he's a restricted free agent, so it would probably have to be a sign and trade. But what would a deal look like to you?
4 for 25. 4 for 100, so 25 a year.
Okay, that's a good number for Kessler. But
what are
you trading to get him? Would you give up a first right now for Kessler?
I wouldn't give up none of our first for Kessler, but like, so this is, I guess that it determines if I could like convince them that hey, he leaving anyway, and I could like use Poole or something like that to make that happen, or like fuck, I give her for Kessler, especially if I got Sadiq Bey, something like that. Excuse me, I'll figure out a way, but I think you have to like, you need a Kessler, Hartenstein is a guy I would consider.
Oh yeah, I think he's on the team option if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right? I think so. Hartenstein is somebody I would consider. I don't think it goes. I don't think it will. He doesn't really rebound, but I think the professionalism and like Miles Turner has been around. I think I would give Miles a try. Maybe you're trading for him. Yeah, I'm saying I would consider giving Miles an opportunity because it really just depends. But I think we just talk about like names, like type of players.
Yeah, archetypes, right? Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna get the center this year. I don't think it'll happen.
The center or a center?
The center. Like you'll get a center, not the center. I'm gonna tell you the centers that they probably gonna see them sign, bro. I know who it is.
Who that?
Marvin fucking Bagley.
You know what? I kind of think they'll bring in Marvin Bagley if they don't move on from Herb. I think they potentially bring in Marvin Bagley because there's the relationship there with Troy Weaver, and Marvin Bagley is having a really good year. I think
he's gonna be cheap.
To me, the center position is a problem, of course, but I also think you can neutralize some of your issues by just bringing in certain types. Like if you brought in guys with high, defensive rebound percentages, like guys who attack the boards, that's what they do. Even if it was like perimeter players, it didn't necessarily have to be a big, but I think it's so difficult to find that big that can shoot, rebound, and defend the rim.
I don't want you. I ain't gonna lie. I don't need you shooting, though.
Okay.
Like
in that regard, So what would make you have interest in Miles Turner? Because he don't rebound at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in the Miles Turner case, I just think it's a starting center who started in the league consistently.
Right.
Like you need somebody that has played the position, solidified the position. Like, you know what I mean? Like just
a bona fide starting center.
A true starting center to where you're not like, okay, it could be Missy tonight. It's kind of like what they did with DeJounte last night, right? Regardless of what you think about Fears' game and kind of how they feel about Herb. Like, these guys are going to play, right? I think you need, because they don't do a good job with the hierarchy.
Yeah.
Right? They don't do a good job with the hierarchy. I think the hierarchy needs to be like established by the name.
Firmly established, yeah.
Yes, like by the like, for example, if they traded for Jared Allen, right? Let's say you brought Jared Allen in. Jared Allen's the starting center.
Right.
Like you ain't even talking about is Eves gonna get that spot. It's like, all right, no, Jared Allen's the fucking center. And then it's like, all right, who's going to the bench? It ain't Jared Allen. It ain't Z. It ain't Trey. You know what I mean? It ain't DeJounte. So, like, you need that type of – that's what you need so they could stop. Even, bro, go back to when, like, last season, Willie was dealing with the same thing. They didn't have a defined starting center, and then they had, like, Willie wouldn't even announce a starting lineup because he was like, I don't know who we going to play. Is it going to, like, you know what I mean? So, unless you're going to blow this roster up, more important, because let's just say hypothetically they go trade for somebody like Ja, right? And you like Ja's a clear upgrade at the point guard position, and the point guard is Klingon and Sharp for Z, boy.
Portland,
yeah.
Portland didn't want to trade Sharp for Zion a few years ago, but
listen, bro, I love Z. I'm sending Z to Portland for Sharp. Y'all watch Sharp this year?
Yeah, Sharp. He ain't take the leap I thought he was gonna take, but he started showing. He's still cold. But
he started showing some flashes.
Let me ask you this, right? Because this is one of the reasons why, like, for me, I do see a lot of possibilities for the Pelicans to improve. Again, they could get up to they could get up to like
70 million.
50 million in expiring money.
Oh, okay, and expiring.
Yeah, expiring money, right?
I was like, if you throw DeJounte in, like, you got a bunch of trade.
Yeah. So if you're talking about expiring money, you get to about 50 million. So to me, I feel like this Sabonis thing is written in stone somewhere. I don't know if it's gonna happen. It's not necessarily the type of big you need for a rim defense. But if you the Kings and you see Renard, you're like, man, fuck
Sabonis. Get him out of here.
So I think they will be looking to take on expiring salary just based on, you know, their outlook and what the salary cap is and what the taxes.
That would be like Poole, Looney.
It would probably be like maybe Poole and Looney, or shit. If they want something good, maybe Poole and Herb. I'm doing that deal. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, Sabonis always been like the thought that I've been talking about. Possibly.
One deal that I think would help the Pelicans in a number of ways. It wouldn't help with rim defense, but it would help tremendously with rebound. And again, when the Pelicans didn't have great rim defense, when they had JV, they were still near the top of the league in defense. Because defensive rebounding.
If you can have rebounding, you not saying that you don't need defense, but if you could rebound the ball, like, because they play good defense for possessions. The problem is
they give up offensive boards.
You can't end the possession.
Yeah, if you can end defensive possession with a rebound, you'll shoot up the defensive rebound in the chart. That's why I like a guy like Goga, also a low usage guy, can hit a three, big body, can rebound. But let's say Domantas Sabonis, for example, one of the trades I had in mind, man, would be Malik Monk and Sabonis for like if I could give him like the DeJounte and Poole, I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? I'll do that in a heartbeat. And I would just figure out, I got Fizz in the tuck, like you were in the tuck. If I wanted a veteran point guard, I could just figure that out. Like, I ain't, I'm not really tripping on that. It's so much harder because I still look at Jordan Poole even as an expiring. his contract is worth more than it's ever been worth, but I still look at him as a guy. Well, what up with you, Dakari? I still, everybody in the building, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Hit the subscribe button, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with us. I still look at Jordan Poole as a guy you're gonna have to move to take on a negative contract. Like if you move him, you could take on an even more negative contract, similar to what happened with CJ. I think, if I'm not mistaken, after the season, Sabonis has about 2 seasons left. I think that's like the ideal trade target. Missed a lot of games due to injury. But
that's your timeline anyway, so it's not even really a negative contract for you.
Yeah, it's just from a financial standpoint, it's negative, right? But player-wise, contract-wise, what you're looking for as far as, rebounding, and we know Sabonis can play next to a rim-protecting big. So if you feel like Yves Missi, this hypothetical, if you feel like Yves Missi is a quote-unquote rim-protecting big, right, who can get you a few blocks a game, and Domantas Sabonis is that rebounding big, because it's going to be difficult to find a guy who can do it all. But if you feel like those two work as a pairing, then cool.
Like you can play Queen though.
See, I'm glad you brought that up. Bro. I was talking to my dog Sam about this, and shout out to my homie Sam, man. I think Ivy in here. I think we gotta just live in the reality. No, not cutting bait. We just have to live in the world where the reality is Derek Queen may not be playable in many situations. And I don't think that it's necessarily a motor issue all the time. I think that's a part of the reason some of the time, but I think as it currently stands with his skill set, at first I thought it was just like an athleticism issue, the way it's athletically he's so limited in the NBA, it's difficult for him to score. I also think his skill set isn't vast enough or sharp enough to consistently score. So I don't know if I see a world long term where Derek Queen is a bona fide written-in starter at the power forward. Unless, because think about the best case scenario, right? Best case scenario would probably be Naz Reid. Naz Reid's not a starter. You know what I'm saying? He's not a starter. So Derek Queen has to play next to a bona fide center, like a bona fide center. So that kind of limits what you could do with him, firstly. Secondly, his three got to get a lot better, and that might take a couple years to happen. He gotta either gain a lot of weight and get big and strong, or he gotta lose a lot of weight and get agile somehow. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for DQ to transcend or translate some of these things. In my opinion, it's gonna be a little tough.
I'm gonna shoot DQ a little bit of bail,
and I'm a fan, man. I fucks with DQ, but
I'm gonna shoot DQ a little bit of bail because I do understand the limitations, but I'm also giving him the benefit of he only going into year 2, and I don't believe he played with a good coach.
Now, here's the thing, though.
The older prospect.
He's an older prospect. Like he gonna be 22 going into year 2, if I'm not mistaken.
So this is how I look at the even him being an older prospect, right? I view it more so as like the part of, and this is what really made me upset about the season. Now I'll say this, because you was talking earlier about like positives of the season, right? Like there were some positives. Positive is you realize you need a coach. Willie Green is gone. You gave Borrego enough games to get a solid test run. Right, you gave Borrego enough. You gave Borrego DQ shirt. You gave Borrego enough runway to like really see, okay, is he the guy or not? In my opinion, right.
70 games.
You get that out the way. The thing that I'm gonna say is, and I did not think that Borrego did a good job making anybody better. Right.
Okay.
I gotta also apply that to a degree to DQ.
Okay.
And also, I kind of want to get DQ was hurt a lot of the offseason and stuff like that.
Didn't get a training camp. Didn't get a full summer league.
Right. So in the most ideal situations, right? everything's not always ideal.
Right.
But before I say exactly what he can be out of year one, going into year two, when he did have some promising moments and stuff like that,
yeah,
I would like to see more of the trajectory of the entire team.
Yeah.
And then before I just say, okay, this is what he is or won't be or stuff like that. Do that make sense?
It does. You know, the thing, shout out to Dakari, because we kind of, I'm gonna say yes, the trade was an awful mistake. But you know,
if the reason why you think it was an awful mistake,
I think it was an awful mistake because I would have to like, based on what I saw in college and what I saw since DQ's been in the league, I kind of don't care if that pick was 10th. Mm-hmm. I still think when you got a motherfucker like Renard that went in the second round, damn near, even though he dropped on purpose to get to the Kings, I still think there's several scenarios where you probably could have got a guy who's as effective as Derek Queen next year. And the reason why I'm worried about Derek Queen projecting forward is because there's a very finite amount of things that he can do to improve his game. One of it is going to have to be shooting, right? Because he's not going to get taller, he's not going to really get faster.
He's showing the willingness to shoot the ball.
Herb showed the willingness to shoot that motherfucker too. So that's the thing. You can be willing to shoot it. Can you make the bitches? But you know, but I just think, to me, I think Derek is going to ultimately be a play starter, not a play finisher. And there's a very
I'm cool with that though.
No, I'm cool with that too. But see, this is how I envision him being used. I envision him being used kind of like the point Zion thing, to where it's like the point guard goes to the bench and Derek Queen kind of runs the offense until the point guard comes back. And to me,
I hate to fucking say this, dog.
Go ahead.
Do you remember, I think you was around when Ivory was comparing Derek Queen to Boris Diaw, like Spurs Boris Diaw.
I can see that.
That's basically what you're saying right now.
My comp would be that or Kyle Anderson without the defense. Because watching Derek, bro, and it's like, tell me, and again, I like Derek Queen. Then I say 22 is, shout out to Fisher Blackstar. He said 22 is young in real life. That man game ain't even close to maturing fully. Norman Powell still getting better. CJ changed his game late in his career. But see, those were in two incredibly skilled, small scoring guards. Whereas Derek, he's not like coming out of college. He's not like a prolific scorer. And he's a old school player in a new day and age where the league is faster than ever. So the question I have for you, bro, is like, tell me three things you think Derek does well.
He handles the ball really well.
Okay.
He handles the ball really well. The passing is legit. I think the passing is a legit talent. The passing and vision is technically the same thing. I think he actually finishes around the rim relatively okay for his size.
Okay.
Like he was good, bro. I think he's not a terrible rebounder. Like he's not a terrible rebounder. He's really not though. Yeah, he's really not a terrible rebounder. And when they when they play him extensive minutes, at the you could see at certain points he plays good defense, right? Like you seen him early in the season play really well against Wemby. You saw him play really well against Cat in certain moments.
I think in the post, he's a very solid defender in the post.
So defensively, there can be times where he can, in ideal situations, he got good hands. Like you see him get strips, you see him time his block sometimes. Like he's not the most athletic, but you can see him get blocks and stuff like that, just off kind of IQ. He don't move his feet well at all though. He don't move his feet well. But as far as the three things I'll say I give him, I think the ball handle is real, the passing vision is real, And I think he can. I think he's crafty around the rim. Like I think he can finish around the rim. If you told me that if this team had more legitimate shooting, like legitimate shooting, I think you could see Derek Queen's game look a little bit better as well.
Offensively, like as a scorer or as a distributor?
Both.
Okay.
Both, because you'll probably have him, and I'm gonna assume that his ISO game gets a little bit better.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume his ISO game gets a little better. DQ's not a good ball handler. For when he dribbles too high, losing control of the ball. He's a good passer, not ball handler. I'm gonna agree to disagree with you.
Shout out to Short Brooks. Go ahead.
I'm gonna agree to disagree with you because I see him do some of the shit that like Draymond do, as far as like he catch it on the break. He could take it on the break. You seen him early in the season when he was confident, like, you know, grabbing that bitch, making people fall and whatnot. Again, you see him in the ISO game, put moves on people and stuff like that. So it's kind of like I think he does have a specific skill set, but I also think that this team isn't built for like most of the player. Yeah, like most of the players on this team. Like example, Z needs more than one shooter on the court too.
You know how, and this is not fair. It's not fair at all, right? See, I just wish they didn't trade before. Like, you know, I just wish they didn't do that, because this is why I say that. And again, I like Derek Queen, man. I support Derek Queen.
I agree with you, Black Nerd.
But here's the thing. If the Pelicans were playing against a team with Derek Queen on it, and Derek Queen scored like 25 points, I'd be highly upset at the Pelicans.
If what?
If the Pelicans were playing like a game versus, let's say Derek Queen. Let's say Derek Queen played for the fucking Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
And Derek Queen scored 25 points against the Pelicans, I would be upset.
Why?
And that's the thing. When I watch him, I'm like, this is a really limited guy. Like that's the thing. That's the thing that like kind of like bothers me from the standpoint of like him bringing the ball up the court. He gets ripped up bringing it up the court a lot, but in the half court, I don't know. He get ripped doing that. Like he can just be holding the ball and get ripped. So, but I think it's because he's such a tall player handling the ball. So, you know, that might be a thing as far as him keeping the dribble high. But I do think when he gets low and crafty with the handle, it's nice. But the thing I really question about DQ is, what are your advantages in the NBA, right? Like, can you beat guys off the dribble consistently? Can you dip your shoulders into guys' paws and create separation? Can you, can you shoot? Can you cross motherfuckers out their shoes? And that'll be the thing that helps you create, the ability to have a first step. Because like Kyrie's handle is so phenomenal that even James Harden is not a masterful athlete, but the handle is so crazy. He crosses you out your shoes.
So what I want to see, and this is why I say I got to cut him a little bit of bail. I want to see what does he work on and come back as a year 2 player? Like, what does he feel he needs to improve on to be a better player? And then I think that'll give me a better idea of what his, what he can be, if that makes sense. Because this season, I felt like ain't nobody have no plan for nothing. Like,
including the front office?
Yeah, like, them too. Fuck them too. They, like, basically, you didn't know who was going to be starting. You didn't know who was going to, like, the starting lineup had been changing consistently. You don't know. They don't have no big. Troy, Joe talked all offseason about the 2 big lineups, right? And then you don't see it at all.
You saw it once in a while.
Bro, so it's kind of
you might have felt like Carlo and Queen here and there.
Yeah, so like it's just kind of like I don't know. And then like they just basically told Queen in the offseason, like, say, bro, look, you Would I rather have Derek Queen or Cam Boozer? I mean, I guess for the sake of the conversation, you're supposed to say Cam Boozer because Cam is projected to be what, a top 5 pick? I don't really believe in Cam like that. You believe in Cam like that?
I ain't seen Cam play a fucking second, and I'd rather have Cam Boozer over there. only because that's the thing about draft picks. That's the worst thing about
that's
draft
what
picks,
I'm saying.
is that once you draft a person, it's immediately worth less. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. We talked about the trade.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest negative of the trade is you weren't allowed to tank. It forced you to play the season, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask this: do you think that was a positive or a negative?
I think it was a negative. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I think it was a negative. I think it was a negative because Queen doesn't, as it currently stands, just based on today, he doesn't appear to project to be an all-star, bona fide caliber player. He projects right now to be a fringe starter. Whereas you look at Fears and say, yo, this dude gonna start one day. Whereas DQ is like, you probably started more games than you should have started this season. Okay. That, and not just the pick itself, but you could have done a number of things with that pick. You could have traded that pick for a center. You could have used that pick. Like, if you called the Utah today and said, I will give you this Bucks pick for Walker Kessler right now, and they're doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just so many, because Derek really represents like 2 lottery picks when you think about it. And you can argue 3 if you say, well, they drafted him with 1. It's like Mark Ingram all over again, because you traded what was projected to, potentially be a top 10 pick, well, 5 through 10 pick, right? 5 through 10 pick. You traded that to get 23. 23, you traded a unprotected first, which projects to be a top probably 5 to 10 pick.
And then you take him.
And you draft Derek Queen. Like, and him being an older prospect, it's less room for error. Him not being a great athlete is less room for error. And see, if Derek Queen was 7'1", the conversation is different. Because you would have had already seen enough to be like, nah, this is a big, strong motherfucker like Jokic or like whoever. It can work out. But I also look at it from the standpoint, if I'm talking about foundational pieces and who teams build around, even in the best case scenario, it's probably like Sengun. It's not Jokic because he's not as big as Jokic. So it would have to be Sengun. Teams don't really build around players like that. Like winning teams don't necessarily build around those types. Like the Kings never really built around Sabonis.
I agree. They don't build around Sabonis or Sengun. But if Derek Queen, I think becoming Sengun is possible. I think becoming Sabonis is possible, right? Like, I'm not saying it's likely.
More possible than Sabonis, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's likely, but like if Derek Queen became Sengun, like Sengun was what, a max player?
No. Well, he's a max. He's below the max, but he's up there.
Yeah, he's like, you know what I mean? He ain't mid-level. He ain't mid-level.
Nah, hell
player,
no.
you know what I mean? Like, you Sengun a real player, right? So if you told me that at best he became Sengun, I'm like, you still have hope of what he can be if you told me he's gonna be Sengun, right?
Okay.
So this is what I mean about the pick. And this, like, when I mean by the pick, I'm not even talking about DQ specifically. When I asked, was it a positive or negative, right?
No, just the practice of doing it.
So like this, So this, well, not even just the practice. This is what I mean. Let's say they don't trade and you have the pick, right? You have the pick this year and you decide to tank. The team was bad by November. You decide to tank. Okay. Most of what people are talking about right now is the fact that, man, you were able to build so much momentum. You were able to go into the season go into next season, you found some continuity and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have the pick, all of that shit's out the window. You probably blow this team up by like January. You get what I'm saying?
It's possible, yeah. It's definitely possible.
If I got the pick, now I'm like, y'all motherfuckers trash. Anyway, I might as well tank, get more picks, and then start the rebuild. So this is what I mean by, is it positive or negative? Because if you don't, like, if you keep the pick, the roster as we know it is probably done. Like they don't play, the season isn't even played the same way. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's why I asked, like, how do you feel about it? The fact that they don't have the pick and it forced them to play throughout the season, I think you got more answers.
Oh, yeah.
You got more answers from the team as opposed to if you do have the pick, now it's just kind of like, all right, we just kick the can down the road. You know what I mean? We tank the season, blah, blah, blah. You don't really know anything. Go ahead.
I'll say this. Now, this is the part to me to where they really, this is why, because I just thought about something you saying, and this is what makes it a super negative to me. You didn't have to tank. It was a swap. And so if the Bucks was trash, you had to pick no matter what, because it was a swap. So the fact that you just what was they thinking? It was, man, it had to be some dope involved in this trade. Because how in the fuck? Yo, Jaden, oh my bad. Jaden wants to speak on this real quick. Jaden, what up with your homie? Jaden, what do you think about the trade? Do you view the trade as a positive or negative? And what are your thoughts about DQ so far this season?
Well, y'all too funny. I actually think that that's a positive. I think it's a positive and a negative with both ways. The one negative obviously is you don't have to pick, so you don't get one of these top up and coming prospects. But the reason I say it's a positive because you're not having to pick, you have to try to win, because I'm not trying to watch the Pelicans for 82 games to lose and lose and lose. I already seen enough losing for all these years in a row, especially last season. So you not having to pick, you're able to build some continuity, not have to force to sit guys because you want to tank and get one of these top prospects. So that's the reason why I think it's a positive, because I ain't trying to sit there and watch this team lose. Like, I ain't trying to sit here and beat Utah for 82 games, Sacramento for 82 games. Just the weird.
They was on pace for that.
What's up?
No, I said they was on pace to beat Utah. Like they was god awful early. At least Utah early looked good and then decided they was too good and needed to shut it down. That wasn't us.
Yo, shout out to Jaden, man. I appreciate it. Jaden also raised a really good point. Something that this is what I would say is a positive. If I had to take a positive away from it, I'd say this. The Pelicans needed talent, right? Look, and I talked to Ivy about this several times. There have been instances this year where I thought Derek Queen had a double-double, almost a triple-double, and he still was arguably the worst player on the court. But when you're talented, you can do that. Like even you see Zion do that a ton of times. So Zion, he might shoot 70% from the field and got
a bad game. He still wind up with 20.
It's still wind up with 20. Like, a guy with a higher floor. I think when Derek initially was getting that run and it wasn't a ton of tape out on Derek, it looked like, yo, this dude, you know what I'm saying? He at least has a high floor. Whereas now I don't really question his ceiling. I question his floor. I question the floor, because best case scenario is Sengun, right? Best case scenario, hands down. The worst case scenario is like, yo, this dude, by his third contract, he could be playing on a minimum contract. Like that's how low I think his floor projects to be. Because what we've seen post All-Star break, and really before that, but post All-Star break, it's like, Jesus Christ, this guy needs to be in the G League, getting some run and getting some development.
So this is how I feel about it. And while being
make sure y'all hit that like button.
While being hard on DQ, at the same time, the expectations and like it's not fair.
It's not fair. It's fucked up.
It's not fair at all.
But that's why you make the big bucks, DQ.
But
you make the big bucks.
It is. I'm trying my best to be like, dog, he should not have had his like the microscope on him like that.
It's totally unfair.
Year one. Like you should be allowed to I don't want to say not be in shape, but you should be allowed to like be flawed, basically.
You should be allowed to transition.
Yeah, dog. I like, for example, Keontae George. Year 3 looked like a dude, right? Looked like a guy. That motherfucker looked like that year 1. Now, I'm not saying that Derek Queen is Keontae George. I'm just saying, like, most players, you kind of want to give them, like, again, you see some players show, like, elite flashes early on and then kind of fizzle out as well. So you've seen players on the other side of that. Like Michael Carter Jr., Rookie of the Year. Was that his name, Michael Carter Jr. for Philly?
Yeah, Michael Williams.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Look great, though, man. We might have a piece.
Tyreek Evans was Rookie of the Year.
You get what I'm saying?
Shout out to Tyreek Evans.
And Tyreek like was solid down the line. So I'm just saying that, like, dog, I don't want to. I understand DQ's flaws for sure. Yeah. And as of right now, he don't look like a cornerstone kind of piece. I don't believe it's that. But I also believe that that's not. I do believe that.
I'm sorry. He said
yes.
Wait. Who giving up the pick? I don't need no pick from Utah. In that
situation.
Yeah, I don't need a pick from Utah in that situation. Shout out to Moneybag, man. I thought Moneybag you say hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit that like button in the building, man.
Hit that.
But go ahead, my bad.
No, I just don't want to hold. I just want to give DQ a fair opportunity that other rookies get.
Yeah.
To like for example, even if they would have said all season, like I would have preferred this, to be honest, from Borrego. Like you starting all season, regardless. Like regardless of how you playing, like we just gonna let you
start.
We just gonna let you go through whatever it is you need to go through, or you coming off the bench all season, and we gonna let you go through whatever you need to go through that way. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like give the guy a defined role so we could see kind of where he is. That's part of the problem I have with Borrego with the roster anyway. Like, because again, even with DQ, there's no rhyme. He don't know who he gonna be playing next. 1 minute he next to Missy, next minute you next to Carlo, next minute they ain't got no shooting, next minute you ain't playing. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be ready either way, but I'm just saying, like, they didn't do DQ no favors either with the shit show that they was out there running.
Let me ask you this, and we're gonna pivot away from DQ, man. Shout out to DQ. I hope it all work out, bro. Not only just because he's the Pelican. I mean, not just because he's a Pelican, but because the level of scrutiny. But who you think had a better rookie season between Yves Missi and Derek Queen? As rookies, better rookie season.
Personally, for me, I'm gonna say Derek Queen.
Now, Derek got some triple doubles.
I'm gonna say Derek Queen because while Missi had some moments, right? Derek Queen was out here running the offense, though.
Got a couple like
his responsibilities compared to Eve's responsibility was significantly higher. He, for a while, he was unlocking Trey. You know what I mean? Like the backdoor cuts and the lobs, and you look at Trey at the rim numbers, like that was a lot of Derek Queen early.
Do you think? Shout out the money bag. You think because Missi been playing like 6 years that it's a fair bet?
Fuck no, I don't care nothing about none of that. I don't care nothing about none of that. Like No, Misi, respectfully, right? I like Eves, but I think Eves' ceiling is a rotational big, right? We were saying at best Derek Queen could be Sengun. Like that's just a level.
Yeah, the pedigree is different. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not even going in Eves. Like Eve started 70-something games last year and averaged 11. What was it, 11-9 or something like that, or like 9-10 or something like that. No, I firmly believe if Derek Queen was on the team that they had last year, where nobody else was there, and this motherfucker was playing all of the minutes and whatnot, like I'm sure DQ better than Ed now.
You say DQ better than who now? Oh, Eve?
I'm saying his rookie season is like better than Missy's rookie season, even with the limitations that he had as far as like going to the bench, starting some, playing some, you know what I mean? All of that. When Missy got there, it was just kind of like, oh, like after Daniel Tice went down or whatever, it was like, all right, he's the starting guy.
Man, because there's a world where Derek turned out to be very, very good.
There's also a world where he's not.
There's also a world where he's not. And it's all about what planet is bigger. But I've been watching a lot of Derek this season, and I'll say this, man, besides Brandon, and shout out to Brandon, man. Shout out to Tiny Dog. We play him soon. Derek is the most frustrating player I think I've ever watched as a Pelican. And that says a lot. I've had to watch these motherfuckers a lot. But we're gonna move off Derek. Shout out to Derek, man. Hope he has a great close to the season. Got to hit the off-season run-in, but I think the future's bright for DQ. They just got to position him to succeed. Point guard. And this probably the last topic. We're going to get to some of the star questions also. So point guard. What are you doing with the DeJounte Murray situation?
I'm going to get Ja.
You're going to get Ja, no questions asked.
If Ja available, I'm going to get Ja.
No questions asked. Okay.
If Ja or a level of player like that is available, I'm going to get that player. I'm going to get said player because I just think one in the NBA today, elite level guards can carry you in a regular season, right? Like you might not win in the playoffs, but elite level, like a Ja level guard, even people don't say what you want about Ja right now. If you could find a way to get, I don't care about fit. Get me the best player. Like if Ja available, Ja today still might be the best player on his team.
I you know what I'll say about Ja as it pertains to fit specifically. One thing Ja does that no one else on the roster does is he can really say, I win. I know how to win. I go win. Everybody else, y'all, whatever. I win. Like I know how to win. And that's something that's like the great separator for everyone involved. Because even shout out to my dog Joe, it's like even with I don't know if DeJounte necessarily fits, to be honest. Like
what is DeJounte? What is I gotta stop saying respectfully, but like what has DeJounte done to just be like, oh, DeJounte is the guy when like you could have Ja. Like Ja ceiling, right? Even if people gonna say Ja not the same, bro. The Ja that people talking about, oh, he not the same Ja. No, that dude was arguably a top 5, like top 7 player in the league. Like he okay.
That dude was great.
Yeah, so granted,
nigga was awesome.
Yeah, like all right, granted, he's not the best point guard in the league. Okay, he might not be that. This motherfucker still top 7? Top like dog.
No, people crazy on the cool. I think now I know there's Memphis fans who watch Ja and say, you know, things have shifted, right? Like like for example, you have some people say, man, you know, Zion is not the same player. He's not the same player. He's lost a step. Do you realize that Zion is shooting the third high? He's shooting 60% field goal percentage this season, and his season high, his career high, was 61%.
Bro,
so like, what the fuck are you?
Listen, Z and Ja, and this is my personal opinion, because you have to take like we want, like, when we talk about the players and stuff like that, bro, we don't take like the human element into consideration when we talk about this. No, Z knows, his agents know, we cannot afford another season of you not being healthy.
Yeah,
like, you cannot afford to be going out, like, it's real, like,
they
I'm
stole
gonna be
his
honest,
Jordans. They already stole his Jordans.
It's irresponsible. Like, it would be irresponsible of Zion to play the game reckless and go get himself hurt, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's just think about the way that Z played the game while healthy. Any season before this season, while healthy, right? Attacking the rim recklessly. You still see how much this motherfucker fall. He's fouled like a Shaq and doesn't get officiated well. And he got, when he's in attack point Z attack mode all the time, right? Like, the hamstring's not like, he, like, you know what I mean? Like, the body, it might be in a better position now. But you telling me that this dude possibly with another deal, because we going they talking about the extension now.
Potentially.
Imagine if Z had another, and then they shut him down at the end of last year. He probably could have played 50 games last year.
He was shut down in that second year as well. That's another thing to take into consideration with some of the years. I know the play-in injury and the hamstring tear year, those were like real injuries. They was kind of understated, the severity of those injuries. But the second year with the hand thing, and last year he was just shut down. Probably would have played about 50 games last year, to be honest.
Look, they shut him down last year, and the context of it is, well, he only played 30 games. Not that, well, they shut him down for another 20-something where he probably could have, because if you played 50-something games, it looked different than you played 30, right? Yeah. Because then you would have played 70, then you played 50, which 50 is still not enough. But then you come back with another 60-something. It's like, all right, maybe he got a handle on the injury thing, right? Finish the season, yada, yada.
Hopefully.
So I'm saying, when I watch Z play, and I noticed this from early in the season, especially when he realized these motherfuckers was terrible, right? I'm not, though.
You think he mailing it in?
They can void my contract if I don't hit these games. And I'm sure him and Joe probably had, if they as tight as they say, they probably didn't have.
They're pretty cool.
I'm going to keep it G with you, dog. If you don't play these games, I need you to be available, right?
Man.
My money on the line, bro. I'm not doing it. Y'all won't give Herb Jones the ball? Cool. Y'all want to do this shit y'all not giving me the ball anyway. You know, he probably looking at the offensive game plan like,
the fuck is this, right? The thing with Zion particularly that makes the argument so like frustrating is because it's like, even this year is like we've waited on you to deliver at the scale we were promised for you to deliver. Now, of course, some of it is marketing, but we waited on you to be a top 10 player in the league for about, let's say he missed a whole year with the injury in the rookie year. So let's just say about at least 5 seasons now, 4 or 5 seasons. You've only looked like that maybe 2-3 times. About 2-3 times. You look like number one seed in the point Zion season, and
there was the 4 seed at one point.
Yeah, and
the 49 win season
and shit in the play-in, man, that dude was killing.
That motherfucker was incredible.
Yo, that last stretch of the season, I'm talking about versus Golden State versus Phoenix, versus all them teams. That motherfucker was awesome. Versus Sacramento, awesome, right? Yeah. And you know, you've had some glimpses here and there, but the thing is, we need you to do that consistently, brother. It's 85 motherfucking games. No, I'm sorry, 82 games. You know what I'm saying? If you reach a 65, cool. We kind of need you to start stacking some days here.
Let me ask you I mean, not to cut you off, man, ask you a question because I know we were talking about Ja, and I mentioned like Z and Ja in the same because like the thing about Z, I was thinking like, hey, bro, look, I got to get this money first.
Yeah.
Do you think if they offered him an extension, it would have some of the same limitations as the Griff contract?
I hope so. But see, here's the thing.
Would you sign that?
I don't think Zion has a ton of leverage in the situation. I think when he did sign that contract initially, I thought his agency made a big mistake because, like, at any point this shit could go left. But again, you're dealing with the Pelicans. The Pelicans don't have a ton of options. Like, and the only thing that would give them leverage, if Derek looked incredible this year, then they would have more negotiating leverage. Like, well, we don't need you. Get the fuck. Like, if trade Derek, Fears, all them dudes that look phenomenal this year, Zion has less leverage. But the fact that it's like, you can't score. You can't score without me, period. Like, it's like, hey, we might want to keep this guy. But, even if we add more talent, we probably need to keep this dude because, I think I do shout out to D. I agree. I think Zion, to me, Zion versus Ant, I'm giving the edge to Zion almost every time. Zion dominates the Timberwolves. He dominates the Spurs.
When he see Wemby, I'm showing up, dog.
Historically, I don't know what I think, except for this season. Historically, he's dominated the Kevin Durant matchups.
That's another reason I go get Ja.
Yeah,
because I know Ja gonna be talking shit to Z like. Man,
that's the thing, bro. That's why, to me, a player like Ja and another person who I had in mind was like, if in the event that Kyrie becomes available, I need motherfuckers who got like a certain mindset that's like borderline, like, yo,
y'all can't.
And those guys have proven to make other people better around them. So, like, in the situation with DeJounte, it's like, you really don't want to be here. I don't know if they really want you. I don't know what the situation is. But even if you did want to be here and they wanted you here, I don't think you necessarily lead to wins on that scale.
How much better does he make them?
Yeah, how much better does he make guys as a collective? So I think it would be in everyone's best interest to go get one of those point guards that, look, if it don't work out, so what? It wasn't probably gonna work out with the team you had. So what? Yeah. At least you can say I went down fighting around this bitch, and it wouldn't cost you much of anything, especially now that the reports come out that Ja's gonna be shut down for the rest of the season. There ain't no way in hell they're asking for no unprotected first pick for fucking Ja. Man, come on, man.
Ja, if soon as the offseason hit, I'm making the motherfucking call to Memphis every day, bro, about Ja.
If the season ends Friday, I'm firing Borrego at 11:59 Thursday night.
Pack that shit up and get out.
You gotta go. 12 a.m. I'm calling Memphis. Yo, remember we talked earlier? What's up?
No, I would. If you could, it would be extreme. But if you could land Ja and a center, like
it's possible. They got the money to do it.
Yeah, like if you somehow, you probably have to throw, like you could do it with like DeJounte, DeJounte Poole and Herb money. Like you could probably land Ja and I don't know, but if you could somehow pull Ja as a bonus, retooling this roster, dog.
I ain't gonna lie, boy. That they'll sell some tickets. Like, to me, the four names I'm looking at, if I'm going quote unquote big game hunting, Ja Morant, Kyrie Irving, Sabonis, and I keep saying this dude's name, bro. Derek Lively. I'm calling because I'm gonna say
Derek Lively big game.
I say that because when he was healthy, it was some years ago, and of course, all these guys are like distressed assets. But the reason I think Derek Lively is because when he was healthy, and if he returns to being healthy, that dude was fucking cold, dog. That dude was cold, and he was getting to a point where he was starting to look like he got best center in the league, aside from Jokic, of course. He got like top 5 center talent. Like, it was getting to that point.
That's another player that, like, if you somehow made Derek, like if they traded for Derek Lively, Derek Lively is your starting center.
Oh yeah. If healthy,
like you, but you get what I'm saying? Like it would solidify a lot of things because
nigga never played, old boy. He never played, but he would be your
one year he
starter.
played, he went to the finals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they had Luka, but
Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you brought in, like, those are the kind of players you need that like establishes the hierarchy for you. Because I think part of like unless you're gonna get the coach that do it, right? Which I think that's something that they're gonna look for in the next coach. Because again, Borrego hadn't established the identity. You haven't established defensive identity. Right. You haven't established the offensive hierarchy. Like, we don't know what you still don't know what the rotations are.
Yeah.
Like, so while they look better, and I think they look better due to competition and help, you really haven't done nothing. You got a 9-game losing streak, 7-game losing streak. Like,
yeah,
I know you could lose games in a row too.
Now, let me ask you this: what are your big name targets, and what are your consolation prizes? And then I'll give you my consolation prize.
My big game targets would be Ja, Sabonis, Jared Allen.
Okay.
Ja, Sabonis, Jared Allen. You know what's going to be a sleeper one for me?
What's that?
De'Aaron Fox.
You think there's a possibility to trade Fox?
I don't know, but I think it depends on how their playoffs go.
Oh, okay.
He did sign a good deal, but you got year 2 Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle coming on.
Stephon Castle balling. Shout out to him too.
I think if you threw the Spurs some expiring money and they ready to go with their young guards, it might be something to consider, right? That'd probably be it.
What about consolation prizes?
I'm sorry, and Kessler.
Okay.
Kessler would be my last big game hunting. So big game would be Ja. What did I say? Ja, Sabonis, Kessler, and Fox. Something like that. Consolation prize. I just want to start in center, dog.
Oh, and you say Jared Allen also.
Jared Allen. But like, I just want to start in center, bro. Like, I just want them to establish the paint, because that's what you like. If you don't do anything else, like, you obviously need shooting, but if you don't do anything else, you need to get a big. You know what my number one big game hunt would be?
Who's that?
Tom Thibodeau, dog.
Oh, for coaching standpoint. Okay.
I don't get, like, I think more important than anything
is utilization and maximizing guys.
The motherfucking coach, dog. Because you could put the roster together and, it just.
What's crazy? Mike Brown just got hired in New York, and this has been a rough year for New York. If they don't win the finals this year, it's going to be like, all right, Mike. It's crazy how fast shit goes when you're
They should have knew when they hired Mike that Mike wouldn't answer.
Yeah.
Have you not seen Mike over the last decade?
Yeah, Mike seems like more of a first-year guy. Like, he gets you going out of the gates, and then after a while, he
turned rough. Sacramento. He made Sacramento a playoff team that one season, and then they were like, nah, this ain't it.
Yeah, Mike, hold on.
No, bro. Like, even if I don't think we could win a championship with Thibodeau, but I think in the process of where we at, by the time we get ready to fire Thibodeau, which will probably be 3 or 4 years, like, Thibodeau got like a 3-4 year window. By the time we reach the end of the Thibodeau window, they'll be ready to rebuild anyway.
By then, Fierce is who you need him to be probably.
Yeah,
and now you're going from there.
You go get him his coach, and then you be good.
I think one thing I was saying all season is one of these positions got to come cheap. I think the center position or the point guard position.
I told you who it's going to be. It's going to be Bagley.
I think that's why I think Lively could really be because Lively's still on that on that rookie scale deal. Anthony Black probably already blew up already though, paper boy. I think Anthony Black already. I think not last year. I think we should have had something.
Anthony Black has done enough.
Last year I wanted us to move Brandon for Isaac, Goga, and like Black. Just like go get those like young scale contracts. Yeah. Man, whatever though. I think my consolation prize would be Goga and probably Fred VanVleet.
I like Wagner's brother off the bench.
Mo Wagner.
Yeah. I so like if you got Lively as your starter, dog, you gotta upgrade Eves, bro. I'm sorry.
What you mean, like but see, that's the thing. If Lively was my starter, let's say Lively played 55 games. That's a high, but let's just say he played 55 games. I'm comfortable with Eve as the second unit guy, but I still would need a third, like I would still need a third big, right?
I'm over Eve, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
But I don't really understand what are you I don't know what people really expect from Eve.
No, I don't expect nothing. That's the problem.
You don't think Eve made some strides this year, his second year?
No, I think he has. He had made some strides and he had some moments and stuff like that. I just want a consistent guy. Where is another one? That's a good one, paper boy. Where would be on my wish list for sure?
And they're willing to move him, man.
Yeah, but I feel like you'd have to give up Z or somebody like that to get Khalil. If you could get something like that without doing that, then yeah, but I don't know. But I just, what was he talking about? Messi. Dog, I just
as a rotational big second unit guy. Because that's all you really looking for him to be in that scenario.
That don't ever work out for us like that, though. That motherfucker gonna end up like what end up happening is like what would end up happening is Lively would get hurt, right? And then they end up not playing him anyway. Like you end up starting Herb and Sadiq. Talking about Herb, you're fine.
Yeah. That dude Cater in Boston, that motherfucker cold. He also like a really large bodied guy, but he's cold. They got guards are looking good out there too. And
bro, they just be picking people.
Is cold, dog.
They just picking people, dog. They just picking people.
A beast. Yeah, I mean,
I just want somebody who does something. Like, you know what I mean?
You don't think Eve do anything?
Nothing consistent.
That's fair.
Like nothing consistent. Like I can't. Like if you put Mitchell Robinson in the game, you know exactly what Mitchell Robinson is gonna
do. Defense and rebound,
right? Like if I put Kessler in the game, I know exactly what he's gonna do.
And rebound.
If you put Goga in the game, I know it. Though, like I'm not like if I put Eves in the game, it's like. He might block shots. He might get offensive. Like he might get offensive boards this game, but then he might not. Like I don't. I just want to eliminate
the questions.
Yes, I just want to, especially from that position specifically.
You can't have too many mites going in your second year.
If I gotta eliminate skill set to a degree, like I might not need a guy who could stretch and do all of those things. If I get a dude that's just say, bro, listen, that dude, Robert Williams used to be like, bro, that dude get bored.
He's a free agent.
I don't trust the knees. He fucking might too.
I don't trust him either.
Might too.
So see, that's the thing though. If you're the Pelicans, you got to take a chance on them dudes that might have some upside. Because
take a chance on Lively though. Like you take a chance on with like high upside. Like you going into year 3. Robert's been around for a while.
And they got to be looking at him like, boy, we about to get another pick this year. If they draft the center.
Another name I thought about, his career might be damn near over, especially after the most recent injury, but you probably could get it for hella cheap. Wiseman.
I give him a camp invite.
Guy. Huh?
Give him a camp invite.
Yeah.
I mean, look. It's like
he off the Achilles injury. I think he done, but
look, every year there's a story like this though, with like a guy.
What you got to lose?
Like, but think about this. You've had every year, motherfucker came off the street and had a phenomenal year out of nowhere. Well, phenomenal by their standards. Like,
bro, your boy from Detroit, the guard.
Oh yeah. I think his name starts with a D. He's having a great year.
Boy, legit.
Yeah. You had, who was it before him? Hassan Whiteside. It was Precious Achua this year. Marvin Bagley this year. Sadiq Bey. Sadiq Bey, he got injured, but Sadiq Bey,
he tore the ACL, didn't play, took the time, came back, look awesome.
Every year. Thank you, Trey. Dennis Jenkins. Every year there's a guy like that who you hope that, like Peyton Watson, you hope that it's a thing that's transitional versus a Mike James year. You know what I'm saying? Say we could have got Denny for pennies, but didn't do nothing. Talking about Denny, could have got Denny from Washington. Who was with Washington? I hate watching that motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie. He is like, you talking about motherfucker that cries. You talking about motherfucker that cry. Oh my God. But that dude cold sometimes.
And motherfucker shoot them free throws.
Yeah, man. So we gonna close there, man. I'm calling my shot with, if I could get John and Derek Lively, and now I just got a straight up injury team. But if it work out, these motherfuckers cold.
You rather Lively or Kessler?
Oh, Kessler. Hands down. I say Kessler because Kessler a lot bigger and stronger, and Kessler can shoot that corner three.
What would you offer Kessler?
I'll offer him about 22 a year. I would offer him at least Trey's contract. I would probably offer him Trey's contract.
Do you think that would get it done?
I don't think the Jazz will let him go. Because the Jazz don't have
money?
Yeah, I think so. Because they don't you got Ace on a rookie scale deal. Keontae is still on his rookie scale deal before you got to start thinking about his extension. Jaren on maybe what could be a bad contract. Laurie on a questionable contract. Now this like, this is the team. Like, this is our team. And you got Filipowski with the second unit. If he was a free agent, I would be very interested in getting Filipowski.
I was about to ask what you think of Filipowski.
I like Filipowski. Y'all think Kessler? Y'all would offer Kessler 30?
I'm not giving Kessler 30, though.
God, I would give him at least Trey's contract.
I can't give him 30.
Not 30.
Nick Claxton make 25. I think he's around that.
And Nick is on a declining contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with Kessler, the reason I couldn't offer him 30, injuries, and boy, you wasn't even really starting like that last year. Before that, he was like co-starting with.
You was like friends
Collins.
Playing. Yeah,
like
John gonna be available, but John not a 5.
John not available. I don't think John's even a free agent this year. I'm looking at the free agent center list right now while we was talking.
I thought he was.
Let me see. I'm looking at the 5s right here. Maybe he's listed at a 4. Let me see if he's on the list.
I thought he had like a player option or something like that. Maybe
if he got a player option, he picking that money up.
He absolutely.
But for the unrestricted free agents at the 4 this offseason, and this Spot Track got to update their shit because Kuminga got a team option. He's not unrestricted, but they got guys like Kyle Kuzma, Grant Williams, Brandon Clark, Derrick Jones Jr. I would like Derrick Jones Jr. as a hustle guy off the bench. Jalen Smith from
power forward.
They got him as a small forward / power forward. Jalen Smith from Chicago. I liked him. Kendrick Williams. Shout out to Kenny Hustle. Jake LaVaria from the Lakers. Lavaria. How you say it?
Derrick Jones Jr. will help this team a lot.
I like Derrick Jones Jr.
Derrick Jones Jr. Bryce. I like that person he talked about.
The best person on this list. And he probably not going to be into free agency. Is probably Gigi Jackson and probably Derrick Jones Jr. As far as like realistic targets for the Pelicans for the money they have available. Now, when we go to center, Hartenstein, of course, I think he's on the team option as well.
Yeah, I think the
homie JV is probably going home to Europe.
Yes,
Brook Lopez and Golga is supposed to be unrestricted. I think he's on the team option though, but Golga. I'm throwing money at Golga if possible.
You think so?
I'm doing it, dog. Because
you think he's a Troy guy? I don't know if he's a Troy guy, dog.
I don't know if he's a Troy guy, but he's been with Jamal Mosley these years, and Jamal Mosley may or may not be a Troy guy. So I don't know. But who knows? I just think for what's available and for what they need, man, I think PJ Washington be out of our price range, but I always did like PJ. You got Darren Sharp. I think he on the team option. See, they got these dudes as unrestricted. I mean, like, yeah, these dudes, a lot of these dudes got team options. Now watch the Pelicans fuck around to sign Taj Gibson or something weird like that.
Well, if they bring in Tibbs, you know Tibbs bring in Taj.
Oh my God, man, you already got DeAndre
if you
Jordan.
Got Tibbs, give me Taj.
Oh, and I want to say this, man. In closing, look, I don't give a fuck. Shout out to DeAndre Jordan, but I don't give a fuck what people talking about. You cannot afford to give no roster spot and guaranteed money to DeAndre Jordan next year. Hire him as a coach or let him go on about his business. Hire him as a coach or move on. Like, make him an assistant or move on. Because no, bro, you don't even have enough roster spots as it currently stands. You know what I'm saying? Because you gave Bryce a guaranteed deal for next year. You got Carlo, he's non-guaranteed. You got to just figure out what you're going to do with that. You got to extend Sadiq Bey soon. You don't have all these roster spots. You need to create some roster spots to go get some guys who can actually help you play. So fuck all that. Like, and shout out to DeAndre, but still. Huh?
You can't even get rid of Hawk.
Nah, his contract guaranteed, you got to trade him. So, yeah, as a $7 million expiring, you know, and the Pelicans got some seconds. I mean, there's things they can do. The good thing is, again, they got tax room. That's another good thing. They're not forced to give a motherfucker away to duck the tax. Thankfully.
Yeah, they got a couple mid-level exceptions and whatnot.
Yeah, we could probably do another like salary cap show or something because they're in a solid spot. They
fucking get Ja Morant, though. Season over, bro. Our season over. His season over. Yeah. Do right by the people. Go get Ja. Bring in a coach and like let's just get triggered, bro, into the all season. Like
that would be cool if they get Ja Morant.
Re-spark the hope, though. Bryce better than her. Listen, if Bryce was closing games, I'm sorry, he was trying to close the show.
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, bro, Bryce was closing games. He shooting better than her. Like, he finishing better than her. Defensively, he might not be as good defensively, but he was on ball playing defense better than her. He don't foul as much as her.
My thing too is like, and not again, this is not a knock on her, but it's like, man, Brunson went 11 for 19 yesterday. Does it really matter?
At the end of the game, what I told you, though, what I said in the chat, we know what's gonna happen in this game. Every time we play, you know, Brunson is closing. They in the ISO. You ain't zero deterrent. Zero deterrent, bro. And that's the problem.
And this is not like, this is a high bar, but you think you need her when you really need Dennis Rodman. you need a big, strong, physical motherfucker that's gonna rebound after he defend, like, and that just ain't her. Like, bro, it ain't nothing her can do with these.
You know what we need? We not gonna get it, but you know what this team need, bro, more than anybody. Motherfucking Dylan Brooks.
Oh yeah, I would love to get Dylan Brooks on the team.
This team need a Dylan Brooks.
I want to trade for Dylan Brooks. People just don't watch these games though. Like, there's certain dudes that are culture shifters.
If Dylan Brooks is a culture shifter. Brooks on this team, you talk about bringing it out of like charging Zion up. Dog,
Dylan Brooks
and Ja.
Dylan Brooks just a psychopath. Like you need anything like that. Just a psychopath. Like you just need even if he a fake psycho, he's some kind of psychopath. But yo, man, after today's show, appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. We're gonna be back. Probably next week. When do they play again? They play Detroit tomorrow, and they play the Raptors after that. They play Friday.
I think they play Friday.
Thursday and Friday. Yeah. So they probably gonna. I wonder what they're gonna do tomorrow. They might split.
They're gonna get that belt put to them.
They might split the injury games between Trey and DeJounte. Probably play those guys.
They play Detroit tomorrow.
Yeah, I believe so.
And then they got the Raptors.
Yes, I believe so. If I'm not mistaken,
they're gonna get spanked by Detroit.
And you think so?
Yes.
I'm being nice. Like, yeah. They play Detroit at 7 p.m. in Detroit. And Saturday they play. No, I'm sorry. Where's Friday? Friday they play Toronto in Toronto.
No.
You think both games? I don't know. They might split.
They beat Toronto.
They beat Toronto. I'm curious to see which game they decide to rest against. What team they decide to rest against. Detroit Weaver's second game versus his old team, but now he in Detroit. So he gonna want to win. So I wonder what they're gonna do.
It ain't gonna matter.
I might take the Pelicans versus Detroit, dog.
No,
I might take the Pelicans versus Detroit.
You don't mean that, bro.
I don't mean it, but I might have to do it. I might take the Pelicans versus Detroit. But man, Al, tell the people where they can find you at, brother.
Man, hit me up, bro. Jesse Davis on X, bro. Catch me on YouTube, on the YouTube, Pels in the Blender, dog. Hit the like, subscribe button. Appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. Follow my dog Chaz at Cheddar Chaz, obviously, bro. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm out.
Yes, man. Appreciate all y'all. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you haven't already. Consider becoming a member. And once this uploads, hype the video, man. Shout out to everybody that joined us. We out. Peace.